Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by my counterpart on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer, with a solid article up on playpicks.com for you guys. Make sure you check out all his best bets tonight. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page as well. Jump in those comments. Let us know who you guys are betting on. Having a great time chatting it up with you guys, messing around. As always, if you do need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find all those local listings in your area, such as the lines for tonight, Nate, on April the 15th. Let's get into it.
Yeah, only 4 games, but definitely some interesting angles to pursue. We have the Bucks -4 at Hawks with Giannis questionable. He missed their last game. Warriors are now -7.5 at the Cavs. The Celtics -6 at Lakers, who are obviously still out. They're 2 superstars. And the Kings, reeling on an 8-game losing streak, are +12.5 at the Red Hot Suns. So I was looking originally at the Cavs +8. It went up a little bit. Now it's back down because I think other people are scratching their head a little bit at this. I mean, the Warriors to me are an average team, maybe even a bottom 10 team when they go on the road. You look at their road numbers against the spread, they're horrible. And 9-18. They're 4-8 against the spread on back-to-backs, 10-16 against the spread when playing Eastern Conference teams. I mean, you might think of the Cavs as a doormat, but that has not been the case lately at all. Over the last 5 games, I mean, they got Kevin Love back, and he's actually staying healthy. He's clearly making a positive impact. They just got Jared Allen, Larry Nance Jr. back last night. That gives them a real glut of front court depth. I mean, with Isaiah Hartenstein and Dean Wade already playing well, they now have just so many bodies they can throw at the Warriors, who are out James Wiseman, out Eric Pascal, Kelly Oubre is doubtful. They are the second worst team in terms of allowing offensive rebounds. They allow the most free throw attempts per game. So I expect the Cavs, who are 7th in offensive rebound percentage, get the 9th most highest free throw to field goal ratio. Expect them to be able to pound down low and keep this one pretty close. I mean, they're allowing the 9th fewest points per game in that 5-game stretch. And the Warriors 3-6 on the road since the All-Star break, 25th in offensive rating in road games. Of course, Steph is the trump card, and he has some absurd numbers against the Cavs, including his last 3 games shooting 67% from 3. But I just think their advantage down low, they can throw enough at him to at least make him attack the paint, reduce the efficiency if they have to go for 2s. And without Oubre, without reliable wing scorers around Steph, I just don't see the Warriors winning by double digits here.
Yeah, I mean, you need Steph to go off. That's what this team is now, is if Steph doesn't score 30 to 40 points, they don't even have a shot. You just can't let him shoot, man. You can't let him shoot from anywhere. It's crazy. He loves playing in Oklahoma City, where he played last night and dropped another 42 points. So, coming off that back-to-back, I do like the way that the Cavs muck it up. I'm staying away from that one. I don't know how much I feel about it, but I definitely trust your instincts there and a lot of what you're throwing at us. So a game, Nate, that I know is near and dear to your heart is the Celtics taking on the Lakers. Classic matchup. Obviously, still the Lakers without their key players and stars. And you've got the C's, trending in the right direction. A lot of trendy teams this season. You mentioned the Kings on that 8-game losing streak. The Celtics are another streaky team, and right now they're trending in the right direction. And I think we both talked about this a bunch in terms of Jason Tatum not being himself because he's coming back from COVID. There's stories coming out about him still wearing it, still using an inhaler. And I think that's really turning around for him as you see what he's done in his last 7 games, averaging 29, almost 30 points, more than 8 assists, almost 9 rebounds a game as well. And he loves playing the Lakers, especially this season, or at least in his last 3, dating back to last season. Against the Lakers, he's averaging almost 33 points a game on 61% from 3, 60% from the field overall. So he's very, very hot. I know, we're looking at him tonight a lot, and some of his props, that spread, it's only at 4.5, but the C's have had some trouble on the road, especially as the road favorites this year. They're 4-9 against the spread, and 11-17, as we mentioned recently, against the spread after a win. which they did do the other day. So that is something to look at. But, in their last 5 road games, they are 5-0 against the spread. And in their last 5 games after a win, they are 3-1-1 against the spread. And then they have played very, very well against the Lakers overall. In their last 4 meetings, the Steeds have taken this against the spread are 4-0. So 4.5, if you don't love it, because you do see the Lakers playing some decent defense and defending the 3 well, even without the Lakers. You might consider Tatum's props there. If he gets 27.5 points and a Boston win, you can get about plus 130 on your money there. And then, Tatum's props in general, 37.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined. As I mentioned, he's averaging well more than that in his last 7. So you might look at him there, attack the spread. I'm not sure if you have anything on the total of that game, but I'm kind of wary of it either way, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I see a couple angles here, and my most confident, yes, is just bet Tatum props over 26.5 points. He's absolutely getting there, barring some sort of injury or foul trouble. Because as you mentioned, yeah, he's finally rounding back into form after the COVID bout. And we saw this last year on the West Coast road trip where he, against high profile opponents and just for some reason being on the road out there, he really hit his stride. People were talking about how much of a superstar he was going to become. And then the shutdown happened. And it just hasn't clicked again until now recently. And the Celtics have plenty around him. I mean, it's never been a question of talent with this team. It's just been about focusing on a nightly basis and finding their roles. And I think they found it in terms of Tatum. You get buckets, but otherwise we're going to move the ball well. We're going to defend. Yes, both these teams defend, but I think the over is still in play here at just 212. The way the Lakers have changed their approach without LeBron, they're 11th in pace in 12 games since he went down, and they were close to dead last with him. So you look at, they're 4 of the last 5 have gone over for them. The Celtics averaging 117 points per game on the road since the break. So, I mean, that would definitely get you over. I'm looking at potentially parlay the Celtics money line and the over, get you plus 170. As you mentioned, you can get that player performance double with Tatum scoring 25 plus in a win, or just take Tatum's points. Doesn't matter who wins. I feel very confident about that.
For sure.
A game I'm not so confident about, but with 4 games on the slate, we're going to talk about it. I mean, I am confident about the Phoenix Suns and their offense, and I am confident that they can roast this Kings defense. However, we just don't have their team total up yet as of this morning. The total for the game is at 231, and if it creeps any higher, I'd actually go under just based on how the Kings have struggled on both ends lately. They've gone under in 5 of their last 7. Some of those totals were absurdly high, so that factors in. But if it stays around 231, I do think we go over. You look at the Suns, I mean, they're number 1 in offense the last 8 games. They're averaging almost 120 points per game at home since the break. And they've gone over in 7 of their last 9. Their last 3 games that did go under, it's very much a type. It's the Heat, the Clippers, and the Hornets, who are 30th in pace since the All-Star break. Heat and Clippers close to dead last as well. Otherwise, the Suns are more than happy to speed it up, have Chris Paul roast people in pick and roll, and that's the key matchup tonight. Richaun Holmes is out, and the Kings are forced to play Hassan Whiteside at center. He's an absolute disaster in pick and roll defense. Chris Paul loves those taller guys. I would look at his props a little bit too. He's going to be dropping in those mid-range shots and getting assists off exposing Whiteside in that matchup. So yeah, Suns totals, Chris Paul totals. Then I would look at the over there, which does hit pretty consistently in Phoenix home games.
Yeah, it's crazy how versatile, not only the Suns, but a ton of teams have been this season, going up and down in where they, how they sort of prioritize defense and offense, being able to score and give up a ton of points. So yeah, I would consider the over there, as you see Phoenix trending that way lately as well. It is interesting how when we have these small slates, we do need to find those little value points, such as props with players like Chris Paul, which I'm definitely going to follow you on that one tonight. A game that I'm on right now, and I think a lot of other people have been, as I've seen the line move for that Atlanta-Milwaukee game. And the story in that game, as has been the case a ton this year in the NBA, is who is playing. Right, for the Hawks, you've got John Collins out for sure, and you're looking at whether or not Trae Young and or Danilo Gallinari play for the Hawks. And then on the Bucks side, you have Giannis. Honestly, at this point, probably doubtful as you continue to see the line drop. It opened at about 6 points in favor of the Bucks, the road Bucks there in Atlanta, and that has dropped to about 4 now. As you see, I think a number of people follow along that if Giannis doesn't play, this is a really good matchup for the Hawks. Once again, I'm going to be really reliant upon Trae Young if he plays. But even if he doesn't play and Giannis doesn't play, I'm still looking at the Hawks here. When you look at what they've done their last 8, they're 7-1 against the spread. Their offense has been up a ton, 5th in offensive rating, and just really effective from the field, 4th in effective field goal percentage, not turning the ball over with, the 3rd best assist to turnover ratio in that time. So, Milwaukee, they've been faltering a little bit on defense, dropping their defensive rating down to middle of the pack, about 17th in the league at this point. And I think what we'll basically be seeing tonight from Milwaukee is them being, the second half of a back-to-back. And they're on the road again, 11-17 against the spread on the road overall this season. And this is their 3rd straight road game. Fun little stat for you: in the 3rd game of a road trip for the Bucks this season, they're 2-9 against the spread. That dates back to last season as well, rather. So, they're not someone a team who's proven themselves on the road, especially during a consistent road trip. Without Giannis, I am looking for the Hawks to be able to take advantage, especially Clint Capella down low, who does a lot of, the Milwaukee is allowing a ton of second chance points. Clint Capella gets the 3rd most second chance points in the league. So I'm feeling pretty good about the Hawks right now. I might tease it up a bit, Nate, since it's down to 4, maybe take about 4 points there, get it up to about 8, and then get that C's game down to about a pick 'em against the Lakers and feel really good about those. That's all the time we have for it today. Nate will be back with another show for you guys tomorrow and a gift card prop. So make sure you are liked and subscribe to that page. As always, jump in the comments. Let us know who you guys are betting on tonight. We'll be back with another show tomorrow. And as for tonight, happy betting.